All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Russian River Brewing Company, and they're out of both Santa Rosa and Windsor, California, and this is their STS Pils. So they're calling this one a Keller-style Pilsner that comes in at 5.35% alcohol by volume, 33 IBUs, and at the time of review, this bottle is just over 6 weeks old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and a viewer of the channel, Billy, for this beer. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that he hooked me up with, and he hooked me up with 7 different Russian River beers, most of them not well known, and this is one of them. However, this is one of the few beers he sent my way that I knew about in advance because I've wanted to try this one for quite a while. I've seen a lot of Untapped friends and just friends in general review this one, and yeah, I'm really excited about it. So they have a spiel here on the side that we'll read. It says, STS is the 3-letter code for our local Sonoma County airport, the Charles M. Schulz Airport. Our Pilsner is a hoppy Keller-style Pils with a lingering dry finish. It is tradition for the style to have a small amount of yeast sediment in the bottom of the bottle. Pour slowly to retain the yeast in the bottle. If desired, give the bottle a swirl to mix the yeast and pour the contents into your glass. Keep refrigerated and consume fresh to best enjoy this beer's lingering hop character. So just over 6 weeks old, fresh enough for me. And yeah, I haven't really jostled this one, so I'm going to do a regular, pour as I review it. And then, got a little bit of a rising beer here. Now I kind of settled down, but I'm going to do a regular pour, and then at the end I might swirl in the rest and see if it changes anything up. So give this a nice pour into the glass here. So this should, have somewhat of a cloudiness to it. It's unfiltered, I'm pretty sure, but it's not going to be like, crazy or anything. It just probably have a little bit of a haze to it after I pour in the remnants. It might just be a little hazy as we speak, but later on it should become crazy hazy. So yeah, there's a gentle haze. Like I can see my hand through it, but there's a very gentle haze. Has almost a 2-finger of this bright white, fluffy looking head, good carbonation, has that yellow golden color. It looks kind of a little bit darker than fizzy yellow beer, just slightly. But yeah, it has a vibrancy to it that's fantastic. And again, a clarity that's amazing. But that looks awesome in the glass, if we're just being honest. It just looks like a fantastic beer. So let's get a nose on it. So they did say on their website that they dry hop this one with some European hops. They don't specify though. Ooh, that's a little bit of a funkiness to it. A little bit of sulfur from the lager. There's a big like lemony, kind of zesty lemon aroma. And I don't say this a lot. Usually when I talk about like malt character, I'll say bready, crackery, biscuity. Sometimes I'll specify the bread. I don't usually say this, but it has almost like a sourdough bread kind of nose. So yeah, and there's a nice punch of like an herbaceousness, like an herbal hop character. Yeah, herbal and spicy. This smells fucking awesome. This smells very unique, in my opinion. That sourdough bread thing, I just don't really get that too often. I may have said it a couple times in reviews. Oh, it smells, listen. I know I'm kind of gushing about these Russian River beers, and I honestly didn't think that was going to be the case. I thought it'd be a lot of the beers that Billy sent me off the beaten path, right? I can safely say after having 5 that he sent me, this one, and I got one more, they just know what they're doing in terms of brewing. And I'm sure a lot of you out there, especially if you're in California, is like, duh, of course they do. But I wanted to see like a wide range of different styles. And outside of that Mind Circus Hazy, which I didn't think was going to be great to begin with, like everything's been fantastic. The Mind Circus was good. It was just not great. But all of these beers have smelled great. They fucking tasted great. They're just, Russian River just knows what they're doing. I love it. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. And thanks again, Billy. Prost. That finish is fucking phenomenal. Oh. I've had a lot of craft Pilsners. I've had a lot of, I've had some Keller beers. I've had some dry hop Pilsners. This is what I expect from a craft brewery. This, while remaining super drinkable and refreshing and just good for the style, there's such a wide range of flavors that I'm kind of I'm speechless. Like, this is a great fucking dry hopped Pilsner. Like, this is great. The body is, for 5.35%, yeah, it's like straight medium body. Perfect. The mouthfeel, it's so inviting on the palate from a mouthfeel perspective. It has a moderate carbonation, so it's crisp, but it still maintains, and it's the one thing I've said about Pliny, and I said it about, what was the other beer that I had recently from them? Maybe they're hoppy, or they're happy hops. While still being crisp, it has such a softer kind of feel to it, smooth and creamy, like almost, again, not to like a New England IPA level, or I guess kind of in the realm of like a Hefeweizen, right? Where like you get that smooth, creamy kind of sensation, but it's still crisp and effervescent. Like that's what this is doing to me, like mouthfeel wise, it's phenomenal. The taste, that sourdough bread hits up front from the malt character. There's a little bit of like a cereal grain, like a Cheerio-esque thing going on too. That's omnipresent on the palate, underlying, but it's always there. That sourdough is unmistakable for me because I love sourdough bread, but I usually don't. The analogies I make for this, for these types of beers when I'm reviewing, isn't sourdough bread, but this is to me sourdough bread. Almost even the finish is almost rye bread-esque because there's a little bit of like a zippy kind of herbaceous kind of spiced feeling to it, but it's sourdough bread. Passes through the palate, I get a little bit of like a fruity pop, like a lemon, a lime, and I wouldn't say orange, more lemon lime. But that continues on, like it hits middle of the palate, and there's almost like a black tea, very slight, like an earthy tea kind of vibe. But that hits mid palate, all that, and it continues on to the finish. And on the finish, it's a beautiful mixture of citrus characters, more lemon, that earthiness. There's this herbal kind of hop character mixing in with a spicy kind of hop character. And then there's this like semi to full on dry finish. And there's also a mild to moderate bitterness. Like it's just all intertwined and makes it extremely balanced. But the finish itself is what wins me over on this beer. Like it's 3/4 of the way through the palate. I'm like, wow, this is really good. And then the finish hits. I'm like, this is great. This is a great beer. So when I looked on tap to look at like to see what they said about it, like the description, I try not to look at the ratings, right? On Untappd, this has a 3.65 out of 5 rating. And I know it's Untappd, and I know hazy IPAs or New England IPAs, any singles, doubles, pale ales, triples, whatever, they're always going to get high scores, especially from Hype Brewery. Same thing with pastry stouts and barrel-aged beers and fruited sours. I get that. I like using Untappd to log what I drink, but also see what my friends are drinking. But I never really take into account like the ratings on Untappd because they're skewed and there's bias towards certain styles. This beer, it's criminal rate this at 3.65 overall. Like to me, that's ridiculous. Even overall as a beer, like stylistically, this is fantastic, but as a beer, it's fantastic. I don't know, I'm ranting on Untappd. I'm just saying, like, I saw that and I was just like, 3.65? There's no way it's gonna be a 3.65. It's not even fucking close to a 3.65. 5.35%. Can't really tell. I just love the fucking aftertaste of this. Like again, that lingering, like it's a relatively clean beer, like as a whole, but that lingering kind of finish to me just puts it over the top as far as stylistically kind of what I want from something like this. What's a negative here? Because I'm considering giving it a 5, but I think, I don't, why am I going to sit here for 2 or 3 minutes debating whether it's a 5 or not? Just overall as a whole, I don't think it's a 5. Regardless, it's a world-class beer. I'm going to give it a fucking crazy high score. Now, let me pour in the remnants here and see if it changes it at all with all the goodies. And I looked in there, there wasn't a huge like yeast cake or anything. There's just a little bit floating around at the bottom. I just want to see if it changes anything. I'm going to give this a monster score. And if you would have asked me out of, let me take a sip first and then I'll start ranting and raving. This is going to be like a 15-minute video because I'm just an idiot. Didn't do much throwing in the yeast sediment. If anything, it made it maybe even a little bit more creamier. if you would have asked me when I looked at those beers that Billy sent when I unboxed them, which two were going to be the ones I'd probably rate the highest, I would have probably said Mosaic Stack and Happy Hops, just from the reputation Russian River gets from, hop forward goodness, especially West Coast beers. I would have never in a million years said the two highest rated beers from them are going to be this and their, what was it? Row 2 Hill 56 Simcoe Pale Ale. I would have never said that. Guess what? That is the case. This right here, this beer, I think I like a little bit more than Row 2 Hill 56. I don't know. Fuck me. I think I gave that a 4.7 or a 4.75. I'm giving this a high 4.75. I'm going with 4.8. If you're sitting there going, what the fuck? How do you like this? So I don't know. I'm always honest with my reviews, and, you got to be honest. And this is just blowing me away for a dry hopped Pils, essentially. Like, it's fucking phenomenal. This beer is phenomenal to me. So, price point availability. A viewer of the channel, Jack Major, he comments on a lot of my videos, especially a lot of the California breweries because he's in California. He did mention that most, I don't know if he said all, but I think he said at most, it could be all, of the, these are, what is the size? This is 1 pint, 1.25 fluid ounces, 510 milliliters. So, Russian River has their own bottles because usually these bottles you see like this, they're 500 mils, so it's slightly bigger, right? It's basically 17 ounces or a little bit over. This bottle here is, he said, I think $6.99 typically for any of these beers in the bottle. And he said that's one of the reasons he doesn't buy this beer that often, because it's hard to pay $6.99 for a 5.35% Pilsner. And I get that. And I, as somebody who has, talked about the price of craft lagers on my channel a lot, like I love Schilling on the East Coast, Human Robot. There's a lot of great breweries, but their price points are kind of crazy, especially in distro. But I'm talking like $4 to $4.50 a can, right? This is $6.99 for essentially like 1 more ounce of beer. That is crazy. It is California. I got on Wondrous. I should say I got on Wondrous, but I talked about Wondrous being $5 a can for some of their lagers. I get it's California's more expensive. Would I pay $7 for a bottle of that again? Yes, I would. Now, Jack said he wouldn't. That's why he said that's why he doesn't buy this that often, because it's hard for him to pay that. And I totally get that. It is a crazy price point for a 5.35% dry hop Pils. But the quality is here, so I would definitely buy this occasionally and have it in my fridge. This is definitely wouldn't be one I buy all the time because it is expensive. But like if I want to treat myself and I was like in the mood for a dry hop Pilsner or just a Pilsner in general, a lager that's really tasty, I would easily buy a couple bottles of this. But it is $6.99 for that bottle. Yeah, it's expensive, even in California. Availability, I don't know. I mean, it's Russian River. If you're in California, you probably can get a lot of their stuff. Some of their stuff's brewery only, some of it's not. Some makes distro, some doesn't. I really don't know, because it comes to the availability. If you want to get your hands on this, try to search it out. If you're in a bigger city, you might have a better chance of finding it. And outside of that, we just don't get it here in Buffalo, New York. That's all I know. So I can't thank Billy enough for all these beers. I got one more. They're Apical Dominance, or is it Apical Dominance? I think it's Apical Dominance. It's a hoppy blonde ale. I'm probably going to fucking love that one and be blown away. I don't know, maybe not. But just has been awesome to kind of run the gauntlet of all the beers that like I really didn't know about from Russian River. And I am so happy that some of these are fucking delicious. And I'm trying to take the hype out of this with Russian River. Like I know the only way to do is, review something blind. But what I'm saying with this is like, I'm trying to be as honest as I can with these reviews. And I'll tell you right now, this and that Simcoe Pale Ale is just fucking next level. And they are the two that I probably didn't think I was going to love. And here we are. So anyway, huge thanks to Billy. If you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.